Hey guys, welcome back to the exciting episode of YOML. We are on our second reflection of the year, and I think this is a business kick kind of area that Chris kind of got into, and he caught the entrepreneurial bug. So let's talk about slicing pie.
Yeah, that's funny. You're right. The sometimes there's like these little chunk windows of like different genres of books or like different little rabbit holes. Like this whole journey goes like rabbit hole, okay, back out, rabbit hole, back out, like it's whatever's
Yep.
top of mind. A lot of times is what ends up coming up. So, but yeah, this book today that we're going to be reviewing is called "Slicing Pie: Funding Your Company Without Funds" by the author Mike Moyer. And essentially this book is exactly what it says: funding your company without funds. It's an outline of a way to slice the pie to start a business, even if you don't have a lot of cash, and you're really valuing how people contribute to a project. And it's a framework to understand what that value equates to, in terms of ownership in the project and future valuation of any profits that are made from that project, or just revenue that's made from the project, and then a way just to be fair and equitable, to start a business without any cash, right? Is this the first book that you and I read together?
No,
What was the first?
entrepreneurial roller coaster.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah. Is this like the second one? I feel like this is
Yeah,
like
that's probably
first.
like one of the earlier business type of book that we
Right.
read together.
I feel like this is like in the first like month or two that we were like, had just started this whole thing. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
might have been.
So this was pretty early on in the whole journey, but yeah, so it shows up here a little bit later on, for a reason, as I was writing through, past books, when I started
Because
this.
you were trying to avoid it.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid this one because it doesn't really relate a lot to, well, it does, but it doesn't really relate to how ClubAny evolved outside of this. This was actually before the first words of ClubAny ever were uttered. So this is when
Yes,
we
this
were
is
more focused
this
on
is
starting our
the
business.
pre-company
Yeah,
era.
yeah, it
So
is. Yeah, exactly. But either way, a good lesson can be learned out of it. And the reflection title of this one is "Begin with First Principles, and the Solutions Will Find You." So started this one off with a question: How does a person with no money at all start a business, with no outside investors at all, ever, like never taking money from somebody else? And then how do you convince other people to actually contribute to that project without offering them any money, ever? So no outside investors, no cash, no you know anything for anybody that's contributing on a project. Just pure make it,
sweat
and how to
equity.
make it sweat equity, and how to make it fair for everybody involved, right? And then the last question on this would be, how do you scale it 50 times? How do you scale it 100 times? How do you do it
Mm.
1,000 times? How do you do it 50,000 times, right? So that was the question that you and we were searching for when we found this book, right? Like, because that was the idea is, this is before ClubAny, but still, like, we were trying to figure out a framework to bring people in that can contribute their unique skills and times and missions and values and purpose into a project, and make it fair and equitable for everybody. And that's what led us to the book Slicing Pie. So to answer our question, we turned to one of the other books that we had read right before this, which was How to Think Like a Rocket Scientist, and turned to the idea of first principles, which are fine. If you're going to start a business with no money, no cash, no contribution from any outside person, and not paying anybody any salaries, like then let's look at the first principles of why would you ever start a business in the first place, right? So for that, you and I started to answer the question, and that was meaningful work and meaningful relationships. Why does anybody want to start any project? That's because they want to contribute to something that's meaningful, and they want to beaver on purpose. If you want to go ahead and throw that out there, I didn't write that in this reflection, but I know that'll be coming. And then they want to do it with other beavers, so they want to beaver on purpose with other beavers, right? And then do it how they want to do it, and build their own dam how they want to build the dam, right? So that's really at its core why I think, and personally, why I think, and I assume that you as well, just based off of what I know from your philosophies, is why anybody would ever want to start a business in the first place. It's not about usually revenue or profits. You know, sometimes maybe that's the case, but most of the time it's about wanting to get together and do something meaningful, and do it with people you like, you know, and to do it how you want to do it. So using that first principle in mind, we then started to look at, okay, great. Now that we have that, how would we pay these people? And that was where Slicing Pie came in. So we were searching for an answer to our problem, which goes back to the title of, you know, begin with first principles and then the solutions will find you. So once we had our first principles in mind of what would bring people to the table to want to go contribute to this project, we then started looking for solutions of how do we make this fair and equitable and make sure that everybody is taken care of and make sure that, you know, at the end of the day, money still is an important part of this whole entire equation, right? Like we can't, even though at ClubAny, we don't believe in money, we don't want to take outside any outside investors ever in anything that we do. But at the end of the day, like we still have to live our lives, right? Like, and truth of the reality is we cannot escape, you know, the fact that this world does run on money and you need some money to live your life. So people eventually are going to need to be paid in the ClubAny ecosystem. And we were looking for a solution as to you know, how to make that happen. So that was where we turned to Slicing Pie. So this particular book was our first pass at an answer to that dilemma, and it's a pretty interesting framework. And who knows? We don't know if it's going to work or not. Like we have no idea. We might be just totally idiots and crazy. But you know, the one thing that I do know is that we will always money will always be secondary to what we really care about in ClubAny, which is building a culture around values and meaningful work and meaningful relationships. That's always going to be at the core of any business and entity that ever starts up here. And then we'll find those other solutions around it. So maybe Slicing Pie isn't the answer. We haven't fully implemented it yet on any particular project at this stage. But you know, we'll look for other things. But the idea is always go back to that first principles, and then the solutions will find you. You know, I mean, hell, we were just talking about a business idea right before this, and in a lot of ways, you kind of just said that at the end of that conversation, you know,
First principle.
Right. Is do the stuff that, you know, don't try to overcomplicate it. Go back to what you're trying to accomplish and then do that first. And then the other solutions will eventually come its way. So so this might be a good cue up for you to begin. But yeah, so that was what this book made me think about is, you know, begin with the first principles and the solutions will find you, and Slicing Pie found us. And it's definitely a framework that we hope to try to deploy as we continue to grow ventures and spend new ventures out of this ClubAny ecosystem. But that's always at the core of meaningful work and meaningful relationships before we do anything, really. So yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first principle concept, and I'm an advocate of it. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. You know, why do you want a hole in a wall? Why do you want to buy a drill?
To look at beautiful artwork on the wall.
My point is, so you know how kids ask 5 why?
Right,
Hey,
right. Yeah.
why you buying a drill? Oh, because I want to drill something. What do you want to drill? Why you want to drill? I want to hang up something. Why you want to hang up something? So I can put pictures online, right? Why you want to put pictures on the wall, right? So you ask those why.
Right.
The real reason, the first principle of the actual reason why you wanted to buy the drill in the first place is so you can have a euphoric emotion when you look at the picture in the wall, to have the memories of your loved ones or whatever that is to put on the wall. It's not about
Architecture of Happiness. That's a book that we'll do later on, but that's exactly what that is designing your space around you to make you feel like you're in your element. You're, you know,
right. And so that's what I'm saying is when you focus on the first principle, then you're gonna maximize the outcome, the negative, positive emotion that you have, right? You eliminate the negative and you maximize the positive emotion, because the thing is, if I would say, well, there's 5 whys in asking why you want to buy a drill, right? Are you going to focus on finding the best drill, right? Are you going to focus on finding the ability to put the best hole in the wall? Are you going
do you want to do a fun exercise? You want to 5 why me on what we were just talking about beforehand?
Yeah, I mean it's easy.
I want to build a custom app for
Yeah, why you
for
want to
cricket
build,
clubs
right? Why you want to build the cake?
because their technology is really far behind, and the member experience suffers because of that.
So why is the technology behind?
Because these are really old school businesses. I mean, they just have not ever had a need to really push themselves forward from a
Why
technology
why
perspective.
why they don't have the need to push them forward?
Why do they not have the need to push forward? I mean, I guess they probably had sustainable business models enough to keep themselves and their members happy and engaged, and their court time full enough. I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know the answer to that, to be honest with you.
Well, this is where you figure out what the answer to that question is.
Well,
Because
so well, that's not why I wanted to build this app. Here, let's not talk about their problem. Let's talk about why I want to build this. Like,
well,
let's start that.
why you want to build? Okay, why you want to build a custom app, white label app for these membership engagement?
Because it's really hard to find somebody to go play with when I have time to go play with.
So why is it hard?
Because it's like the skill sets you have to be able to align. There's court time, there's skill sets, and limited time frames where people can go play, right? So it's a very like
Let me
it's
rephrase this question: is why do you want to find people to play with?
because I love playing tennis and I want to play more tennis.
Why you want to play? Why you want to play more tennis?
Because it helps me to live my values and spend more time with my daughter.
Why you want to live your core values?
Well, that's ClubAny. That's everything. That's purpose, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So why is tennis your core values?
It allows me to express all of my core values in one activity, and I would like to do that as much as I possibly can.
So if you were
And I want to
to,
help others. Yeah.
so the question is so let's say we didn't go all through the 5 why, but the question is, what is the real reason then? When basically you just told me you moved away from the software itself completely out the gate, just like snap a finger, you moved out, and you know that's not where your focus should be,
Right.
right? Because going through the answering your question is you want to have this euphoric feeling to be able to live for two, which is your mission with your daughter. You
Right.
want to continue to play tennis. So the essence of the I guess the question is gets you to answer the question where you can't say, hey, there's nothing else I want, but I just want to play tennis and I want to be able to live for two, meaning like that's what you want to do. It has nothing to do with the other stuff that you told me before. So that means that's the core center of the real reason why you ask me to see how much effort it is how much effort it would take to build a um, the custom label app for this membership engagement, right?
Right.
Right. So now, let's say you focus on that particular core values. What I'm saying is spend your time and say, how can I do this? Spend the effort in figuring out some solutions to how do I be able to live for two and play more tennis, play as much tennis as I wanted to play, and maximize my time in playing tennis. And
Yeah.
so
And one of my biggest problems at that point in time is I have a job, full time that I can't get away and go do this stuff in the middle of the day. I mean, like I can only play select times throughout the week,
So
and
my question is, if you were to build a business here, would it add to your playing time or would it subtract from your playing time?
well, potentially would add to it, because it would put me more into that environment where I could then,
But you have to run the business.
yeah.
So
I mean, but it's in the world that I want to be in, right?
no, you're in the world of my perspective. My assumption is from my end, from what you told me, is you want to play more tennis and not go
Right.
out there and sell the software and try to maintain the business. Because
Okay.
if you do that, you're actually going away from your core values. So you're spending time on finding out what drill you want to drill and how you build the drill to drill the hole. Instead, you are actually not getting any of the precious memory that you wanted. You're actually straying away from your path, the core values. First principle, you violate the first principle by going and find things that is outside of that realm of core value that you wanted so badly. Because if you want it so badly, right, find out how to play more tennis, not how to play less tennis. This is how to play less tennis. But you think about it, I mean, if you were to say, hey, let's go build the software, well, I'm going to go sell and I'm going to, but that's all you're doing. You go out there and convincing people and talking to people, say, hey, use my software. It's going to connect people like me. It connects me. But how am I playing tennis when I'm talking to you? How am I playing tennis when you call when the customer is calling me? How do I set this up? So
good point.
That's what I'm saying is first principle. I mean, so go back
what's
to
what's your solution?
My solution is what you said in your reflection. First principle, begin with the first principle, meaning what is it that you want? Because you think about slicing pie, right? In this world, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only one thing we want. Only one thing we want, not money. It's not money. That's why ClubAny isn't about money. We want to do what we want, which is whatever our core value is. We want to do more of that. Why are you working, Chris?
Well,
so you're going to have the money.
Job.
So you're going to have the money to do more of the stuff.
Not this job, not anymore.
But I'm saying it's
right. Not anymore. Yeah.
Well, you're in ClubAny. You're the exception, okay?
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I
solved that problem already. I went back to first principles on that.
Spoiling my my example. My example is that we don't work for money. Right. We don't. That's why slicing pie works. It's because we don't work for money. Because thing is, because I'm asking you this, right? You are spending. You're spending. You're not taking in anything. You are giving out energy,
right,
to play tennis, right? How much are they giving you?
A lot.
And how much are they giving you in back in money?
Oh, zero. Oh, yeah, zero.
Are you paying out?
Oh, yeah. I probably spent like $5,000.
So this is what I'm saying is, when you're doing, quote unquote, doing something, exert energy, whatever it is, you are going to spend the energy on things you like. You're contributing energy to things you like, which is who you are. You are the beaver. You're gonna spend the time to do whatever it is. So that means that whatever we do, so there's only two ways. There's only two things I want, right? You give me the ability to play tennis. Let's say I'm you. I want to play tennis. So you give me the ability to play tennis. I'll play tennis. Or you gotta pay me for doing something I don't want to do, so I can use that money to buy some time to play tennis. So in the end, the first principle means that, hey, you're going to do whatever that makes you feel good, which is I play tennis, I do coding, or I do whatever. That is what we really want. That's only one thing we want. That's why money isn't the real reason for any businesses or anybody working.
So what you're saying is go buy Indianapolis Racket Club and then build a software to help me play more tennis, with people.
No, yeah, exactly. You got to focus on first things first, because if you're going to build a tennis club because you want to play, right? You don't need money, because you willingly you willingly pay money to go play tennis. You willingly to spend your time and energy to go play tennis, and they're not giving you back anything. But you were doing that day in day, and now you're telling me you want to do more. This is what I'm saying is, when you find your first principle, it is so easy to find a solution, because you're not. And the thing is, we got it because you're asking me, okay, should we build this? I say no, because it's not what we do. It's not what we do. If you say, hey, let's go play tennis, right? Okay, pay me $99 a month or whatever to go and rent some court time. You pay people to go and let you do this stuff.
Sure.
So you think about, if you take ClubAny or anything that we do and take first principle, once you narrow in on the first principle and things that resonate with your core values, right? Then you're gonna do that regardless of there's money or there's no money. You even pay to get to do it. And so first principle is so important in my mind that nothing else, but you can say, hey, this thing gonna make me $1 billion. But if it's not
Right.
what I want to do, I just don't want, because the thing is, in like, as I progress through the company experience, I am more sure of this first principle. For me, it's like you and I doing this thing like day in, day out, right? And we basically, like, regardless of rain, sun, sunshine, rain, snow, sleet, whatever, we're on here, we're talking about stuff because that's what I want to do. And you're not paying me a dime. I'm paying stuff to get on here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the thing is, I want to do this, regardless of whether it makes me money or not. Money is a man-made construct. It has nothing to do with what you're supposed to do. Because
Right.
when we work, it's because we say, well, I need to work so I can use some of that money to offset some of the time so I can spend some more. People say, hey, I'm going to work so whenever I retire, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right.
Right. So to me, that's the only thing that we want as a human person. That's why Slice and Pie would work, just because, in essence, if you find the right project that people have can resonate with, then they're going to be happily going to contribute. If a person say, hey, I love to go on TV and dance or whatever, right? They'll do that for free. You don't need to pay them nothing, right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Is if you love tennis, then play tennis. Don't go build software. If you play tennis, right, and then there's so many bookings or whatever, and you can't handle it, say, hey, go ahead and build me a software so that I can use it, so that I can play more tennis. And then once you have that booking software, whatever that you have, you say, hey, I have the booking software. You're not doing anything extra, but other people can still use it.
Right.
This is where first principle comes first. The other thing is auxiliary. If you happen to have a good drill, right, and you drill your hole in the wall, you put the pictures on, and you enjoy the euphoric feelings of whatever, then you can say, hey, this drill here, you guys can use it. Man, I already have the drill, right?
What if I said this? I'm gonna go join Indianapolis Racket Club, and I'm gonna ask my friend to build a platform for them so they can play more, so I can play more tennis with more of the club members at IRC. Whether or not we try to turn it into a business model, like, what do you think about that?
But that's the thing, is you're gonna have to ask the other guy, is that his core values?
The owner of IRC?
Anyone's involved.
Sure. I mean, I'll have to ask.
This is the point of company. You're gonna have to match the right work with the right people.
Well, you like to build software, and I like to play more tennis, and that person wants to make more money, I would assume. So, like, I mean,
no, it's not about liking building software, right? It's about building the kind of software. No. You got to build the software that resonate with you. There are thousands, even hundreds of thousands of different software.
True.
And if you ask me to build you a booking software, and there are already thousands of booking software out there, what am I contributing to? What is the euphoric feeling that I have? If you ask me to discover a universe, yeah, because that's something I like to do, and I would do it. But if there are thousands of software already exist out there, and you ask me to swim through the oceans of all these different things.
I'm not asking you to build a booking software. I'm asking you to build the member engagement tool so I can understand.
There will be more membership engagement software than our booking software. That's my point. Because to me, from the perspective of that, there's nothing new in this arena. It's just that people are not orchestrated in a way that meets your need.
Right.
But they're out there. They have like pieces, like basically floating a bunch of stuff. They are fragmented. Like the softwares are there, but they're fragmented. Right. And so so the thing is, I'm a builder. I'm not a assembler.
Right.
So for the sake of assembling something, I'm not the right guy, because it violates my first principle.
Okay.
Right. So you're gonna have to find, like, let's say project manager, right? I'm not a project manager. I hate managing projects.
Right.
Right. There are people who do, which is like you have, right? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying is this is a more of a project manager type of project than a builder. Because
yeah,
for
it
me,
would be.
for
It'd
me,
be like custom development.
I would enjoy doing something that hasn't even been done before. Then I would take on that challenge because that's my core value, right? I learn new things. But for this thing, it's just it bore me to death.
So I need to buy my own club, and you can help me to build my own software to help me play more tennis.
Right. That's the thing is the ClubAny, the purpose of ClubAny is to find projects and then to identify the people that has the core values that is resonant with that particular project.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I mean, I 100% agree. Like, and I'll do it for free. Like, I'm not. I'll pay for it.
Exactly, because the thing is, if you give me a project that is like something that I really want to do, I do it for free. I'm not going to charge you anything because I get the joy out of it. Right. That's like I say. At the end of the day, that's what you want. It's not about the money, right? The money, you want the money because you want the freedom to do the thing that you really want to do. But because of the way society is structured, we have to kind of suck it up and do things that we don't want in exchange for what we want. Because people are looking towards a weekend so they can do the thing they want. Because they like slaved away on the weekdays so they can do this thing on the weekend, and then they slave away so they can retire and do what they want to do. Right. Everybody's telling you to do that. I mean, outside company, that's what that's the mindset of how people act out there.
Yeah, I had a friend when we were just in New York City. I told you about. I won't use her name on here just because that'd be kind of weird. But the one that used to work at the company that got acquired, and so she wants to leave now because she hates the culture. And I was telling you about this. Well, she was like, I hate it so much that I'm going to leave at the end of January. And she was like, I don't even have another job. And she's like, I don't care. And I was like, what are you going to do? And she goes, oh, I don't know, probably take like 2 or 3 months off, like, focus on myself, do the stuff I like, maybe do some artwork, do some, she loves decorating. So she was like, maybe redecorate my house, like, travel a little bit, get back in the gym, because she was like, I feel like I've let my fitness go to shit, and like kind of like recalibrate my whole entire life.
Is that what company is about?
And I was hearing this and I was like laughing, and I was like, man, like, because she's miserable. Like she's miserable with like her job, her the work is not meaningful anymore. There's no meaningful relationships anymore because like that all got dissolved basically slowly but surely over time after the culture was acquired, and then a bunch of people started leaving, and now it's like
now it's just a grind.
Now it's just a grind, and like not only is it just a grind, she doesn't feel happy and healthy anymore.
Every day.
Right, exactly. And she's
tired. The thing is, she's leaving without having a job. That tells you how much miserable when you spending energy on something that you don't want. It doesn't resonate with your core values. Right. So I would caution anyone, right? Always think about first principle. First principle means like if you're doing something that makes you feel good, right? That something is going to give you the positive feelings and experience, and that's going to give you what you need. Because if you, like I say, you could be miserable. You can be a billionaire and you'd be miserable, Chris. And I say, hey, you build this product, right? Oh, I built this product so that I can play more tennis, but now I play zero tennis because I'm so busy.
Right. There's been so many. There was so many. Like the class pass lady.
I mean, we go back to the Mexican fisherman story again.
Yeah.
I mean, it just tells you that you don't need to go through all this thing and trying to get money. What do you want in the end? Because you're talking about a Mexican fisherman saying, he just fish a little, you go back and take a little nap and go talk to his friends, play some guitar,
play a little tennis. I just want to go play a little tennis, Yeah.
And they say, no, Chris, you go build this software that changed millions of people. You can make $1 billion, and you move to New York City, and you build an enterprise and be listed in a New York Stock Exchange, and you get public offering, and you make $1 billion. So then you have a bunch of money, and then you go back and you play a little tennis. Right? You can play tennis now.
I get it. I get it. Okay. Well, I'm glad we did that. That was a fun exercise. Anything else you want to change my mind on today?
I mean, you're the one who wrote the reflection.
That's why we do this, right? Like, I mean, This is the whole point of it, right? Like this is you all saw now in real time us troubleshooting. This is what we do. Like this is how we make decisions around frameworks. So I just, True just saved me a lot of time of wasting time to go
a lot
play
of
more tennis.
misery too.
Right.
Because like I said, you're gonna be spending time doing things you don't want to do. I promise you. Because from how much I know you already, right?
No,
and you
right,
say, hey, I love to play tennis and I want to live for two and I want to do this for my daughter, right? You're not doing this thing, right? This thing is gonna move you away from that purpose.
I agree. I mean, you're not wrong. All right, you're right. You win. All right, I submit. Awesome. All right. Any final thoughts to this one? I feel like that was fun. That was a good use of time.
Yeah, always ask the why. I mean, ask the why until you can't ask another why.
Right. I like that. That's good. Yeah.
Right.
I haven't done a 5 why because that was design of everyday things, I think. Right? Was that what we heard that?
The 5 why actually comes from the Toyota processing.
Yeah, no. It was, but I think we heard that in design of everyday things.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was what that, but I didn't write that reflection of the 5 whys, right? So
right. But a lot of these things basically these things come down to a common concept, which is first principle. Like, what do you really want?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about, hey, are you building this because you want the money to do some this or that, whatever, or you just want to play tennis? When you want to play tennis, then do the thing and say, hey, did it give me more tennis time or less tennis time? Well, it's less tennis time, then I'm not going the right way. So, turn around.
That's fair. No, I mean, it's fair. All right, you like I said, I submit. You win. Awesome. Well, that was fun. The 5 whys, I like that. So the question we can leave with you, everyone, is what are the first principles of your beautiful question? So keep figuring it out. Keep going deeper and ask your 5 whys, and you'll figure it out eventually, and at least ease your mind, like, because you know what I mean, like those things can get stuck in your head and you're like,
you will know when you're beavering.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
You will know, because it's like, I don't have any doubt. When you really, I mean, we're talking about the track of the alignments, right?
Right.
When you're on the track of alignments, how do you feel? That's what I was asking you. Like, how do you feel?
It feels effortless. I mean,
you feel right. You know when you're on the right track. Right? But if you have any doubt, that means that, hey, I'm not in a place where I should be.
It's a really good point, because it just made me think about, like, why do you even take on a VC in the first place? Because, like what you just said, the first step is always really easy when you're doing something, that you want to do. And it may not be, it's not that it's not a challenge, but like I think of like this project, or I think of what we do every single night. It's not that these things aren't challenging. It's just that it's easy. I can do it. I can do it, and I can.
It's not
it's
not easy to walk either.
Right.
But you and I want to walk and want to run because we have the faculty to do it, and we want to do it.
But this is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to say, though, is the reason why you end up taking on a VC is because you can't do it yourself. Like it's not naturally aligned. You have to go get outside resources to go make a vision happen for.
But no one has ever gone to a VC and stay forever.
No. I mean, you can't.
It's like the same thing as me eating a frog so I can win $100.
No, I know. This is the point I was getting at.
Doing something I want to do so I can get the money to do whatever I want to do.
This is my point. It's like you need to take on resources to do stuff that you don't really want to do because you haven't really figured out what the first principle was in the first place. Right, is what I was getting at. Like that's when you take on more resources. Like if you already are doing what you're supposed to be doing, it should be an easy thing for you to go do yourself, right? Like, I mean, like it's not like, writing software for you isn't hard. It's challenging, but you enjoy it. But if it's the right project, you'll do it all day long, right? Like
exactly. I do all day long. I do without sleeping. I mean, I did the thing for Blake. Like I stay up the whole 10 hours until 3 o'clock in the morning because there's something new I haven't done before, and I want to do it, and I did it right.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. And
I didn't get paid or anything like that, and I did it because for whatever reason I'm energized. Like it's not like. Because if I'm not energized, how can I stay past 1, 2 o'clock in the morning? It's not possible.
You can't. I mean, I'm so engaged in this project. That's why
even after I'm finished, I'm like sky high. Like
Yeah.
I can't even go to sleep, right? That's what I'm saying is,
I'm sorry.
I
Go
mean,
ahead. Yeah.
how do you explain that? That's what I'm saying. How do you explain that? That's my point is, it's not about like how much effort you put into. It's like, is the thing you're working on resonate with who you are? If it
Right.
does, then it defies a lot of the logic that we have. Because
It's easy.
I'm talking about, hey, why are you walking when you can be rolling in a wheelchair?
Right. Actually, I thought about that today. We were it was actually like really nice out today. It was like 60. And
You want to get your wheelchair, out and roll?
no, Luca was we took Luca on a walk because it's been like a month and a half since we've taken him on a walk because it's been like really shitty weather because it's the middle of the winter time and in the Midwest and it gets really cold. So we were pushing Luca on in a stroller. We were enjoying like the rare 60-degree January day. I don't know why it's so warm here right now. And Luca was in his little stroller and Felicia kept giving him like crackers and stuff like that. And he kept going like, and just reaching his hand up and she was like walking and I'm like, and I couldn't help but to think of your little wheelchair, like, man, this kid's living the dream. Like, you know, he's getting pushed around. All he has to do is snap his fingers and clap his hands and a cracker appears and he eats it. And then he claps his hand again as he's getting pushed somewhere and he's like, give me a cracker. Like he just eats and strolls around all day long. And to your point of like why do you even walk? That sucks. That would be the worst life ever if you just walked around and you were just, you know, pushed around everywhere and you know, like give me food. Like, you know, like I mean that would be
that's what I'm keep saying
yeah.
is, you know, you don't want to be a donkey in a shed because if you have the faculty, you need to express it. If you suppress it, right, it'll kill you.
It's cute when you're 2. It'll kill you when you're 30. Like, cause you'll just be fat, overweight, not using your body, you know.
No,
and,
if you think about it, I mean, the thing is, you take a kid, right, that he doesn't walk past like 4 years old.
right, that's not good.
He's by the time he's 10, he's gonna shrivel up into a little, you know, nothing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like the only reason he can't walk with us at our pace right now, so that's why we still put him in a stroller. But
he wants to. He's going.
Yeah, he wants to. Yeah. No, he actually got mad. Actually,
eventually he wants to get out of it.
Yeah. No, he actually got mad today as we were like about 3/4 of the way through the walk. He started squeaming around. He never used to do that, but he started squeaming around in his chair, and he was like, "I want to walk," because he's been walking now for like 4. He's been like really walking for like 4 months now. You know, so before like, you know, strolls, you know, he wasn't really walking anyway, so he was just like crawling around everywhere and he couldn't go anywhere. But now he's like, I want to get out of the stroller, like get me out of this thing, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyway, it was one of your truisms made me think about it earlier. All right. we'll put a pin on it for tonight. So once again, you know, what are the first principles of your beautiful question? And you know, love to hear from you, and we will see you all tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Good night.